Moments like this are almost always the result of small, preventable decisions stacking up in the wrong order. And if you don't understand that sequence, you won't just misread this incident. You'll miss the exact same warning signs when you travel, charter, or even step onto a cruise. But if you follow this breakdown in the right order, you'll move through any maritime situation cleaner, safer, and far more aware than 90% of passengers. Let's walk through it properly. Fast 1. Understanding what actually happened, slow down and reconstruct the sequence before you react to headlines about a superyacht crash in the Bahamas. You need to mentally replay the timeline. What was the vessel doing? Approaching a marina? Passing under a fixed bridge? Maneuvering in current or wind? Why this matters. Most accidents don't happen in open water. They happen during low-speed, high-precision maneuvers. If you skip this step, you'll assume big mistake, instead of recognizing a chain of small ones. Pro tip: bridge strikes almost always happen during approach angles that are slightly off, not dramatically wrong. Identify the environment, not just the vessel. Don't focus only on the yacht. Look at the conditions. Was there crosswind, strong tidal current, narrow clearance? Why this matters. Even a perfectly operated yacht can drift several meters offline in seconds. What goes wrong if you ignore this? You'll blame skill when the real issue was misjudging environmental force. Insider detail: in places like the Bahamas, tidal flow between islands can feel mild, but it can push a vessel sideways faster than most people expect. Understand bridge clearance reality. Most people think bridge clearance is a fixed, safe number. It's not. Clearance changes with tide, swell, and even load weight on the vessel. Why this matters. A yacht that should fit can suddenly not fit if skipped. You assume the captain miscalculated height, when in reality the margin disappeared. Pro tip: experienced captains don't aim to just fit. They build in a safety buffer of at least 1-2 meters whenever possible. 2. The hidden decision chain before impact. Check approach speed. This is where things quietly go wrong. Too fast and you lose precision. Too slow and you lose steering control. Why it matters. Large vessels rely on water flow over rudders to steer. If skipped, the yacht drifts unpredictably right when precision matters most. Insider detail: many incidents happen because operators slow down too much out of caution. Evaluate alignment. Early alignment with a bridge or channel should happen far before you reach it. Why this matters. Last-second corrections rarely work on large vessels. What goes wrong? You oversteer, then countersteer, creating a zigzag approach that ends in impact. Pro tip: professionals line up their approach hundreds of meters in advance, not at the last moment. Monitor lateral drift continuously. Sideways movement is the silent killer in tight passages. Why it matters. You can feel on course while drifting sideways into danger. If skipped, by the time it's visible, it's too late to correct. Insider detail: wind hitting the tall structure of a superyacht acts like a sail even at low speeds. Bond 3. The moment things start going wrong, recognize hesitation. One of the biggest causes of accidents is indecision. Do you continue? Do you abort? Why this matters. Delay turns a small correction into a major problem. If skipped, you commit to a bad approach instead of resetting. Pro tip: the best captains abort early and often. It's not failure, it's control. Use thrust, not panic steering when things go offline. Inexperienced operators turn the wheel harder. That's the wrong move. Why it matters. Steering alone won't fix lateral drift at low speed. What goes wrong? The bow turns, but the rest of the vessel keeps sliding. Insider detail: proper correction uses controlled bursts of engine thrust, not aggressive wheel input. Understand stopping distance even at low speed. A large yacht doesn't stop instantly. Why this matters. You can't brake like a car. If skipped, you misjudge how much space you need to avoid impact. Pro tip: in tight areas, stopping distance is often longer than the space available, so prevention is everything. Botch 4. Impact and immediate consequences. Expect structural contact, not dramatic collision. Most bridge strikes are not explosive crashes. They're slow, grinding contacts. Why this matters: damage can still be severe even without speed. If skipped, you underestimate the seriousness of just a scrape. Insider detail: even light contact can damage radar masts, antennas, and upper decks, costing hundreds of thousands. Watch for secondary damage. The first impact isn't always the worst part. Why it matters: after contact, the vessel can pivot or drift into worse positions. If skipped, you focus on the initial hit and miss the follow-up damage. Pro tip: many incidents escalate after impact because control is lost during recovery. Assess stability and control after contact. The priority is regaining full control. Why this matters: a vessel near a bridge is still in a constrained environment. If skipped, you risk a second collision. Insider detail: crew coordination becomes critical in these moments. Communication breakdowns make things worse fast. PA 5. What passengers and observers should learn. Don't assume visibility equals awareness from the deck. Everything can look calm and controlled. Why this matters: you may not see the drift or misalignment. If skipped, you trust appearances instead of understanding risk. Pro tip: just because it looks smooth doesn't mean it is. Respect restricted areas. Passengers often gather at the front or sides during maneuvers. Why it matters: these are the most dangerous zones during tight navigation. If skipped, you put yourself in harm's way during sudden corrections. Insider detail: crew instructions during docking or bridge passage are not suggestions. They're safety protocols. Learn the pattern, not just the story. This isn't about one yacht in one place. Why this matters: the same sequence applies to cruise ships, ferries, and smaller boats. If skipped, you treat this as a one-off incident instead of a repeatable lesson. Pro tip: once you see the pattern, you'll start noticing early warning signs everywhere. Thon 6. Traps to avoid. Believing size equals safety. Larger vessels are harder to control in tight spaces. Trusting it looks fine. Most problems develop gradually, not suddenly. Ignoring environment, wind, and current are often stronger than they appear. Waiting too long to correct early action prevents late disaster. Overconfidence in technology. Navigation systems help, but they don't replace judgment. Ending now. I want to hear from you. Have you ever been on a ship, ferry, or even a small boat where something felt slightly off during a maneuver, but nobody else seemed to notice?